Lord God of power, of might, and of grace, to you alone belongs honor and glory and adoration forever and ever. Amen. And so, Lord, we continue to ask that your protective arm, your security, your defense over all your creation throughout the whole wide world will always stand firm. And we continue to give ourselves undeservedly that you will direct our every action for the good and the benefit of all human beings throughout the whole wide world. And so we continue to commit the sittings of the Trrc today. And we pray for the witnesses that will come before the commission. Grant them the boldness to be able to speak the truth. Grant the commission the discerning spirit to discern between truth and falsehood. And we continue to beg of your mercy that you shall grant the population and the diaspora the patience to allow the due process to take its course. This we ask through Christ our Lord. Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much, Bishop Badiko. Council, if we're ready with this morning's witness, we may please proceed.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Good morning, all. May I ask that the witness be brought in, please?
Thank you.
I, Ibrahim Jim Drame.
My real name is Ibrahim Drame. Jim is a nickname.
I, Ibrahim Drame.
I, Ibrahim Drame.
Do swear that.
Do swear that.
I'll speak the truth.
I will speak the truth.
The whole truth.
The whole truth.
And nothing but the
truth. And nothing but the truth.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Thank you.
Good morning, Mr. Drame.
Good morning, sir.
Thank you for agreeing to come to testify before the TRRC.
It is my pleasure, sir.
Mr. Drame, we would normally have interpretation in one of the local languages, and I have taken the liberty to suggest that we have interpretation in the Mandinka language. The interpretation is not necessarily for you, but it is to help some members of the audience who are sitting at home and watching the proceedings. But you'd be expected to also listen to the interpretation and assist in the interpretation in the event that the interpretation is mistaken in one way or another. But also you're expected to give your responses only after the interpretation. And that way, everything that is said will be captured. You also requested to allow at least a brief 3 seconds between your speech and that of the interpreter, so that the speeches would not overlap. Do you understand?
Understood, sir.
You have just taken an oath to speak the truth.
That's correct, sir.
It's a criminal offense in the laws of this country, and also under the TRRC Act to provide false testimony on the oath or false statement on the oath. Do you understand?
Understood, sir.
council quand même vo wala nyinti ko sedo ye kalota le tumala men ne kalota anu abi kala mutan le nyinna ko Gambia banko kanjang nyimulu atinyalti ye tumala men ne ye kalota bine la sedan ndiro dila ye kuma soto balo vo mulu atinyalti andun TRC fananjang tumala men ne kalota ye kuma so fo me alon ko aman soto fana mulu atinyalti TRC la luwa koto aka wala senen dima.
All right. You have been adversely mentioned in a few instances. The first is your alleged participation in the torture of Farafenya attackers.
Siyo kono jang ito fota janne kuol to me alonko iko ida bulata ko kono ndo abe kono wolem boy kango men keta Farafenya wosangola
when they were arrested
rinye muta
following the attack on Farafenya barracks.
birimbo in kango keta Farafenya foka pare inatane imarinyol muta.
And this would include Balo Kante, Mr. Drame,
andung abdol kono Balo Drame and Mr. Drame Balo Kante and Mr. Drame kontongoning and do kotangodu.
Yes. I can get you the full names later. You also alleged to have participated in the torture of Lamin Kabu and crew. When they were arrested for impeding an NIA operation.
Biring inata na NIA la do ko nyi inata ni dabula NIA do ko do kono inata ni muta.
I know that you have been tried, acquitted and discharged in that particular case.
Nganyim faham le ko wo kiti yo nyi ye samba kiti bula to ye kiti ndi bari luwa nata ni bulale ngo faham le.
We are not necessarily sitting as in appeal of that high court decision. That is not our purpose.
Mantara sirinja nyin kamala ko kafo ko kitiyo nyin ka jube ka murunkan ka jube mantara o siyo jam menketa high court banyu.
We are not trying to do that at all.
Mantara o kata kuluk fere kam purka oke.
That would not be within our remit. It would not be within our jurisdiction. What we are trying to do is to catalog or investigate the human rights violations that arose during that incident, regardless of the findings of the High Court on that issue. Apart from your adverse mention in the areas I have enumerated, the Commission would want to hear the information you have regarding tortures that took place at the NIA, especially along the margins of the investigations that were carried out by the panel in March 2006 following the foiled coup d'etat of Trrc.
Commission belafla ya fo mu jang ya ite longdo men soto tajire ya la men ya lon ko iketa je NIA je to andung abe kono wolem kabrin 2006 coup d'etat nyim fanan duru cham la coup d'etat bayri ngon fanan nyim mi mol muta men la tawul fanan kan belafla ka o fanan kacha.
Are you ready to proceed?
I'm very much ready.
Pareta la bam purunga tendem bang.
Thank you very much. What are your full names?
Itoni konton.
My name's Ibrahim Drame.
Ntomu Ibrahim Drame leti.
Otherwise known as?
Dolielong Tonya Dilla.
Jim.
Dol kafonya Jim.
Date and place of birth?
Ila wulu sang mulunju malti ani wulu da mintole.
I was born on the 26th of August.
Yung nguluta August karoti limuang ani woro.
1965.
1965.
In a village called Kankuntu.
Ika fasate ume Kankuntu.
Fonyi Councillor District.
Fonyi Councillor Tundo Kang.
Give us a brief description of your biographical information.
Silang sutia ya sutia ndidong ila kibaro afdinda bang ila kulata nyameng ila kibaro nyin.
I haven't gone through my nursery school.
Biringan na dindi ya dindim ya karango ke dindim mesangul la karango.
It happens, my father traveled to Sierra Leone.
Mfa mata tata Sierra Leone.
As you know, in those days, there was this a lot of Gambians flocking all the way to Sierra Leone to look for diamonds.
Ando wato ni wato men tembeta Gambia din jama wulta jange kata Sierra Leone pour nyin kamma isita diamond nyine wala je luluo.
My father was among those ambitious Gambians that left the Gambia.
Mfama be o Gambia dingol le kono men yo hammo soto kata o nyinindiro la je.
I hope he found many.
Njikita ko jama soto.
He was fortunate.
Ala harje
I was, in the sense,
nyama ko
Allah blessed him with a family.
ala nata dimbaya diala.
A very guided family for that matter.
Dimbaya me ya lonko tarakuta ala la mansabaya kono.
He guided them
Fanantambite nyato ke
to
samba
be able to practice Islam accordingly.
andung ayakata hanifa Islam dino dundi ibeto ko akata anyanta kala nyamin.
Mr. Drame, I have told you earlier that we should put aside all these trappings of religiosity and just focus on the issues. You know, we cannot start invoking our various faiths, and you know that would be complicated.
Thank you, sir.
Let's keep it simple and stick to the
I haven't completed my nursery school.
Thank you.
Nursery karambu ke dinding karambu fungabang.
I was enrolled in a primary school in Sierra Leone
Yendundi primary karambu to Sierra Leone.
called Kwedu Islamic Primary School,
Kwedu Islamic primary karambu to.
where I went all to class 7.
Data da men hanfo mfata class 7.
In those days, there was nothing like grade.
Otembo grade caring.
It's like class 1
Followed class 1
to class 7,
to class 7.
where I wrote to more common entrance examination.
Damen ngalondi kontibo ke ka for my common entrance examination.
And I was able to gain entrance to a secondary school.
Nasilo soto jele kata secondary karambu to.
In those days, there was nothing like high school,
Otilolu high
senior
school
secondary
caring.
school.
Ka for senior secondary school.
It's either you couldn't make it,
Wala mnyenti ni mang silo soto no mang ganye no londi kontibo to.
stay put,
Yetu inoto.
or if you cross the common entrance,
But ni londi kontibo nyinganye
you proceed to a secondary school.
kata secondary karambungol to.
It was as a result that I gained entrance,
Udalilo le asabu nata dung karambungo to.
having passed the common entrance.
Wiring a common entrance londi kontibo ganye.
To which school?
Ansarul Islamic Secondary School
Ansarul Islamic secondary karambungo ndata wolto.
Where?
in Sierra Leone.
Sierra Leone banko kang.
Which part of Sierra Leone?
Sierra Leone fanna juma.
Kafadame Kwedu.
Mr. Drame, Sierra Leone had the same system as the Gambia, and even at that time they had high schools.
Sierra Leone fanna.
I went to Forobe College, fortunately, and just at the foot of the hill is Albert Academy.
I
And
know
Albert Academy was a high school. From the early 1900s.
in Sierra Leone,
Sierra Leone banko kang.
secondary schools
Secondary karambungulu.
is from Form 1
Aka follow Form 1 le.
up to Form 5,
Kata Form 5.
and then from some secondary schools,
Secondary karambungulu lolu bije.
they have Form 6,
Wole Form 6 soto
both
le.
lower and upper.
Wole lower and upper.
But at the time I'm talking about,
But in tebe wato men fokang.
there was no school at the time that was mentioned high school.
Utumo karambunti je ka for men na utumo ko high school.
After primary level, you have secondary schools.
Ni bota primary tembo to do kata secondary karambungol leto.
Having,
Bose School, wasn't it a high school?
it was in the sense, but it was a secondary school.
Ha asa feono wonya bari secondary karambungolo.
St. Edward's, wasn't it a high school?
St. Edward's, it was, but they were all called secondary schools.
Fana mu woleti bari ka ibe kumandi secondary karambungol lela utumo.
Let's not debate on that. Proceed, please.
Equally,
Anyonka hani anyama killing.
after spending 3 years,
Birina sanji sabake
my father had to send me back to the Gambia.
mfama yeng murundi nang Gambia jang.
Amongst the siblings,
Itung adingulu kono
I was the first to be repatriated by him.
ayentele follow murundi nang kankina Gambia.
When I arrived,
Birim futata jang.
I was enrolled
yen dundi karammundoto
into St. Augustine High School,
St. Augustine's High School.
where I finished my high school career.
Nana high school karammu kewole to fangabang.
There I wrote to the General Certificate Examination ordinary level.
Jelom nga londi kontibo ke kafome GCE ordinary level.
Having completed my high school in St. Augustine's,
Bringana karambumba bang St. Augustine's.
I think it will be interesting to note that the former SG Fadera and the current PS Interior were my classmates.
Ngamere asike molye hamme kuti purka lonko Fadera meya atening who is your passing? Ani member permanent secretary ala sai ni bebe class kilingol kono St. Augustine's.
Interior permanent secretary
member
Hassan Tangara.
interior. Walem Asan Tangara ni bebe karambung kilingol dono.
Having completed my high school,
Bringana karambumba bang.
I enrolled into the Rural Development Institute
Nkara ntende la karambumba to kafulame Rural Development Institute. Walem santo to iriba karambungo.
to read development strategies,
Rungata yirwa Kenya sarto lukarang.
where I acquired my national certificate,
Utofana nga certificate soto je kafama national certificate.
which is a diploma
Me yalon ko diploma makamo lem.
integrated rural development,
Walem santo to yirwa doko kunya ludunya.
specializing on sociology,
Adu nata londo soto me yalon ko letrinta hadamaya kunya ludoko la karola.
psychology,
Aning mo yalu la miro Kenya.
research methodology,
Aning kisiro silo lulanya.
project planning and management.
Anin doku yirwa doku lu fere lando ninga maranya.
Having completed my course,
Bringan na o karonga bang.
I proceeded to seek for employment.
Ndata doku nyingola.
It was at this time,
O tembole mu
in those days in the Gambia,
o tilo lu kono Gambia jang.
if you go beyond a high school,
Ni tambita karambumbala high school.
if you acquire any other qualifications,
Ni londi do fanan soto memu londi santo bundati.
your papers will be forwarded to the Personnel Management Office,
Ike la kaito lu samba doku lalu be marabunda bale to kaflame PMO.
with my case,
Atela karola.
the institute I attended
Karanta karambumba mento.
was being run by the community development.
Jama yirwandi bunda me kafai community development wolle be o karambu tamandi kanwotumo.
At the time,
O tembo.
which was under the Ministry for Local Governments and Land.
Andu tumo wobe minister bunda le koto memma taman sakundari ngul nimbanku kenolla.
So automatically,
Bitung atembeta nyinyama ko.
my employment was swift,
Yentela do ko ta tariyandi wole nyama.
subsequently posted to Jarume Koto.
Bitung natan samba katan samba jarume koto sato to prunga do ko kije.
And at Jarume Koto,
Be jarume koto
I spent 4 months
na karnani kije.
and I discovered that
Nata je ko.
what I was doing,
Be menke kang
actually I did not like it.
malafala.
There was something that I thought I liked,
Kudo bije ngambira ko lefta wolela.
and I felt I had to do that.
Ndung nyindun tan kono ko woto nyanta wole kela.
At that time,
O tembo
I was employed with grade 6.
yenta tembo mento do ko bunda makamo nyeng be grade 6 le.
I had all along, having read a lot of novels,
Bayre ngabuko jama karang ni saferu bukolu.
I had the admiration for becoming an intelligence officer.
Nata nying hammo soto pour ngake e do ko lati melna do ko sitara dendin kullo kibaro lu la karola.
It was as a result of that,
O dalilo le ya sabu
in one of our gatherings with among my peer groups,
nkafu nyolu kono na bendo sotonta
I told someone, I said it's unfortunate
nko doli nko nyi mukuleti meng a manka nyama
that a country like the Gambia
banko membe ko Gambia
does not have an established intelligence organization.
imam bundalo rin soto me ya lonko wolem londi dinkaring doku bundati.
You wanted to be a spy.
Exactly so.
Elafta kanon ke kunun ko kullo sunyalati.
Very true indeed.
Omuto nyalti
He immediately condemned me.
ayendo ya
He said, no, there exists one.
akayen ko kilimbe kerin janne
And it is called the National Security Service, NSS.
akayen ko bunda e kafujele NSS
to me,
National
that
Security Service
It was a very big surprise.
o ketante terem bati
I said, where are they housed?
nkaye wala dinkirabe min tole
He told me it is the president's office
ako wolu be president la office ole koto
at State House.
State House
I didn't say anything.
man fen fo
The following morning,
osomo
I went straight to the State House.
ndata State House
And I found the gendarmerie on good duties.
nga sandarmorol tara do ko wala
I have been told already that the head is called Keba Sise.
andu ya fanye foka pare ko ila nyaton ko ka fole ke basise
And I told them I want to see Keba Sise.
nko e lafta ke basise le
I
jela
was asked whether I had an appointment with him.
e nyinin ka fonna dia mutale pour ngata je bang
I answered in the negative.
nko e hani
They said, then you cannot see him.
iko nyawto itaje no la
I was too adamant,
mbari ngake kanjati ngam
Stubborn.
babunda anin kunja
insisted that I would like to see him.
mbalanta ko lafta jelale
In the process,
o kono
I was arrested.
ye muta
I was detained.
yen sindi dula killing
I think, Council, you can agree with me, my rights were violated.
bitu ngalon ko je bitu yem fanana nyanto tinya
I was detained the whole day.
tilo mume o yen sindi dula killing
In the evening,
uraro
they released me.
yembula
I went home.
nsaita
The following morning,
asomo
I went back to the State House.
muruta State House kota
I
ke
said, I want to see Keba Sise.
nko e lafta ke basise le jela
And I was so, were you not the one who came here yesterday?
ko nyam faytele manna jankunu
I told them in the affirmative.
nko e ha
They said, but why are you insisting?
ko nye bari munan be balandi nyin
I
ko ka
want to see him personally. There's something I want to discuss with him.
nko e lafta jelale kule be kerin lafta
was
na
even
memfo
arrested.
kota ke yemuta
I was detained
yen sindi dula killing
until late in the evening.
an fo wura around mafangola
At the end of business,
ko ko bandula
I was
tem
released.
yembula kota ke
I went home.
nsaita su
The third day, I went back to State House.
li sabanjango muruta kota ke State
And
House
this time around,
nyin silo
when I greeted them,
bringe kontong
he said, Sijang,
they told me to sit down ko ngasi
wait,
ibatu
someone will come for you.
mo bine kamma
I guess at that time,
ngambira o tembo
the message has been filtered down to Mr. Cisse
kumo futata te fangomale
that there is someone who is persistently coming over here that he wants to see you.
afayen ko mo kana jang membe balandin ko lafte jelale
Few minutes later,
miniti dantan wo kola
someone came and picked me up
o natan kamaje
and took me to Keba Cisse's
ayen samba
office.
ke ba sise la office oto
And he asked me, why do you want to see me?
ayen nyinin kamuna na laftan jela
I told him, Mr. Cisse, I heard about your organization
nka Mr. Sise ngela do ku bundale kibaro moy
and I am very much interested.
adu nga hamme soto akoto
I showed him all my papers
anna kayto lu itandala
and I told him I'm currently working.
nka nyin tembe ndembe do ko lalde
But I want to shift,
bari ni lafta sawunna
join your organization.
ngadu ila do ko kono
He told me,
akonye
go home,
say
put up an application,
safero ke memu do ku nyinin dan
copy all
safero
your papers,
yani la kayto lu kafunyo mala
bring it
sede
over
kayto
to me.
ya natinteye
I did that.
no okay
I later discovered
o kola lo nataje ko
Keba Cisse was one of the first person to report to work at the president's office in those days.
te basi sele mo foloti men ka futa do ku dulato president la office to tilolu ko
Well, you remember in those days we have these buses that trot between Apply, Banjul, Serekunda.
nali hakilo baka wo tembo bosolu be keri men ka bori banjul ni
I
sera
was
kundate
among the first passengers that boarded the bus that day.
ntebe mo folol le kono menu bulata boso kono wulung
In as much as Keba Cisse goes to work early,
te basi se fanan kata do ko la
he
nya
found me
juna
standing at
nyanya
the gate of the State House.
wolunga en tetara lori in State House
When he saw
bulato
me, he started laughing.
Brian ya jeleta
He put me on board his vehicle,
ay mbulandi ala moto kono
drove to his office.
ntata la office
I showed him all my papers,
nanna kayto lu itandi ala
called someone,
ay mo kumandi
and asked them to file those.
akay nyin kayto lu dundi kayti keran kono
He gave me contact numbers.
ay nombalu dinna nyomoy rangolu
So you can be calling that every fortnight.
akay sikari nyin nombalu kumandi lokum flawo
Inquire
lokum flawo
about your application.
purisi nyin karo ke ela do ku soto nya kayto lula
Some months later,
kari danta o kola
whilst in the village,
utumo mbe santo sate oto
my younger brother came
ndo manata
and told me that you are needed for an interview
akonye sulatelal de pureta interview kachani jabiri kumo do bengo
at the NSS headquarters.
NSS la korda bato
It was late at almost around,
Can we summarize that?
I gained employment.
nata do ko soto je
So subsequently, I was enrolled.
bitum natanta do ko
I was taken for training.
yen samba karangola do ko karangola
Council, during my training,
birim benna do ko karangola
I won all the prizes.
ndele ngay la gagner fenglu be soton
Everything, academics,
kabiring londo la karol
weapons,
jorangol la karol
self-defense.
fan tankando la karol
Only one prize I didn't win.
ani di kukiline bi je mamme gagner
That was the most disciplined recruit.
wala do ko mo kutolu
There
men
was
yalo
one
ka
lady
tele
that was
kuluta be
Manjako already very, very disciplined.
manjako bi je men kuluta bak
She was very disciplined.
akuluta bak
She won that prize.
atele yo gagner
Other than that,
na manke oti
You are too stubborn.
no,
ite
well,
kumujata
directly or indirectly,
aseke anyama
witting or unwittingly.
anyama nganiyo kan wala na falinda kan
But I grabbed all the prizes.
bari gagner fenglu be ntele be soto fo kilingo
I was then posted to the counter-espionage unit upon completion of my training.
biringa karango bang yen samba dinkira to dame yalon ko kullo sungulu fanalu menukalo wul fanali nyato ke no masata yen te samba wala bundato
I served under my commanding officer,
ntata nyato ko men koto
which was the commandant of the training school at the time,
wala mkarambungo fongola kunton kote o tembo
Mr. Pate Jao.
ka fa Mr. Pate Jao
Having served under him for some time,
biringa wati ke akoto do ko wala
taking cognizance of my agility,
birana taje mumoleti me yalon ko ngam fanno ngam fan samba nyami
and I was able to make use of weapons,
andunga na taje ko nga jorangulu Kenya no
coupled with my expertise in self-defense,
aninata londi sahari ngo men fanan soto fang tanko ni fankanto la karola
there was the need for an incorporation of intelligence officer into the close protection corps.
utumo solo sotonta puruka wo mo façon ludundi kanto ni tankada bunda la menu be wodo ko wala
I was redeployed to the presidential guards.
bitu utumo le na tan samba president la kantar mo lu bundato
The first president of the
republic follow la president follow
the late Sadauda,
Tala Sadauda
and his immediate family,
anala dimbayalu
I have protected them nationally and internationally.
ntenge kantale kabirim banko kan fo banko e bantala
Council, I set up a record because things that I did there,
atu council ngakolu menu ke woto
which I think,
men yalo ngamira
I know is off record. Let's proceed, sir.
ngatenteng
Having served there,
biringa do ko ke woto
the day before the 1994 coup,
amunta tilikilindro janin 1994 kudeta bekela
from the intelligence collection,
ka kullo tankonin kanta kullolu kafunyo madamin
we believe that coup should have taken place on the 21st upon arrival.
ngamira ko nu kudeta nyanta kala karotili muwannin kilingol le lummem president fon be futala banko kan
Thank Allah it did not take place there.
bari ala tentu amanna ke wolum
Because I was in the close protection corps that received His Excellency when he was from holidays.
kadu ntebe balama kantar la le kono mennu e president o kanta biria futata banko kanja wolum
Because I thought if it had taken place at the airport,
kadu ngalo naketa nu kluntila jidulato
as planned,
we affaire nu
I
nyami
would not have survived it.
you will not survive it or
I would not have survived that, yeah.
woto ntenga lon kon tekumute kanala je nte tankala
While His Excellency was taking the guard of honor,
wato mem president be bunya jubero ke kan kantarlalla
I was the bodyguard between him and the soldiers.
ntele keta kantarlati membate nin sojaro lutema
So there is no way you can touch him without touching me.
woto fereti je wolum
And
ni
I
lafta
think
president mala imam folontela
Mr. Drame, we understand there was no guard of honor.
There was.
Well,
ako god of ono ketal
I recall most of the testimony we received suggested that there was no guard of honor. What
There was a
happened-
guard of honor, sir.
Just a moment. What happened was, okay, Jawara arrived. He greeted a few people, and straight away he was whisked into his vehicle. There is no dispute that you were there. There is no dispute that you were doing your duties. And obviously, if there was to be any fighting, you would have been caught in between. But the evidence we received is that there was no guard of honor. But this is an immaterial point.
It's immaterial, but council, there was a guard of honor, and Edward Singate was the guard commander?
Well, Edward Singate did not suggest that there was a guard of honor.
There
if
was.
My recollection is right. But let's move on, and then we take it from there. The record has noted that you suggested there was a guard of
There
honor.
was.
Proceed, please.
We arrived at the State House.
Mfutata State House.
Upon him being housed,
Biringa tata fadun tala bunkono.
we dispersed.
Ndeli janjanta.
Because on that very day even,
Tato ulum fango.
I was not supposed to be on duties.
Mantara manya na do ko kela numfang.
For whatever reason,
Bari dalila o dalila ya
I was
sabu.
called to go to beef up the close protection corps.
Iyem kumandi ko ngatara balama kantar lalu kono.
That was fine.
O beteata.
The following morning,
Asomo.
the coup took place
Udeta keta ulunde.
and everything changed.
Ko be falinta.
And subsequently, the NSS was disbanded.
It was disbanded and named the National Intelligence Agency.
Ye NSS janjang iko National Intelligence Agency
A
NIA.
new agency was created,
Very true, sir.
Onyala.
and you joined that new agency.
I was sent back to my parent body, which was the Intelligence Corps.
Ye murundi na doku bunda kafokono memu kullo fanung bundate.
And you rose through the ranks.
I rose through the ranks.
Tell us the
Abetu na
positions
palaso
you
la
have
fata.
held.
Before we get to that,
Janinga futa auto.
there is no department at the NIA
Bundate NIA
that I have not manned,
ntemandame mara.
with the exception of the mechanical division and the technical division.
Fo machine doku be karo menna aning nying meche doku be karo menna mawol dorone mara.
Just briefly enumerate them.
That's right, sir.
Sutiyandiwa.
From 1994,
About 1994,
I was, after being a close protection officer,
birinketa balama kantar lati,
94 to 96,
94 kata 96,
I was second in command at the counter-espionage unit.
ntele simbe nyaton ko kam bunda la men ya lonko menu fanal ka bula kullo sungulu noma kullo dinkaringulu.
Also a trainer at the training school.
Nata ke karandir lati karambu nyinto ka molu karandi dame.
From 1996
About 1996
to 97,
kata 97,
I was section head of the economic sabotage
nketa nyaton kati bunda la me ya lonko wolle kati nyaro ke fankola karola.
at the National Economic Sabotage and Agricultural Intelligence.
Kullo tinya fanka tinya ning seno kullo londo la karola.
From 1997 to 98,
About 1997 kata 98,
I was again redeployed as the head of the counter-espionage unit.
ye murundi koteke counter espionage unit wala mbunda ati menu fanali kalo ka kullo sungulu fanang no lako no masata.
Again in 1998,
Koteke 1998,
I was appointed to become a task force member
yentom bom purunga ke kafunyaton kati
of the National Security Council.
me yalon ko wollebe kantonin tankada kafuba nyinto National Security Council.
On its creation for the first time in the country,
Biri ya londi sinya follow la banko kang.
I was representing the National Intelligence Agency to formulate that security programs
Ntele sita NIA toya la ubunda la puruka programu lulondi.
and to prepare guidelines countrywide.
Anin ka tarambulo lunin kuolu fanalu parendi banko karobe la nyanta do ko kelamenti na lotan kangolu.
From 1998 to 1999,
Abo 1998 kata
I
1999
was head of investigation.
kata nyaton kati kisi ro bundala.
I did here 1 year,
Nasanji kilinkije
1991 to 2001.
1991 kata 2001
I was the officer commanding operations
ntelam officers meye do ko lu sambanya nyaton kaya.
and commandant of the training school.
Nata ke kunton koti karambu nyinto ka ndokulalu karandi dame.
For 2001 to 2003,
2001 kata for 2003
I was sent again to the investigation
ye
department.
murundi kisikisiro bundala koteke.
From 2003
Kabo 2003
I briefly served at Bundung as their commanding officer,
nga wati sutun ke bundu ntele ketela nyaton koti je
responsible for the Kanifing municipality.
me ya lon ko kanifin tundo ntele marta jela
In 2003 to 2004,
2003 kata 2004
I served as a military observer
nketa crossirlalti sojarol la ko sambanya la karol
the United Nations mission in Ethiopia and Eritrea.
United Nations la doko la karola Ethiopia and Eritrea la karola
It will be prudent to note that
abekela ni ku keneti pour kanyi lonko
whilst in Eritrea,
mbe Eritrea tu moment
I found a father figure, a Gambian,
ngammo jije ngaje aketa ko mfama memu Gambia nkati
Mr. Gomez.
ka faye Mr. Gomez
He once told me
anene nyim fonyen
that the chairman TRRC, Mr. Cisse,
ko chairmanu membe na TRRC jang Mr. Cisse
then Secretary to the Secretary General of the of the United Nations, Kofi Annan,
utuma telem secretary to United Nations la kunton kabala karola ikafome Kofi Annan
that the gentleman works 26 hours a day.
kwenye Mario katiwato muang ani worole do kutilo kono.
So that was a thumb up. We admired your courage, sir.
Betu dalilo mkuti meya lonko ijiko ni Kenya yembe nyabo.
And when you came to the Gambia with the then Secretary General,
Birina ta Gambia jangini wo Secretary General.
I had some rapport with you.
Ni dia modoke.
Maybe you may not recall.
Mandola seke inyinata.
He used to borrow the 2 hours from Anna.
March 2004,
March 2004,
I was the officer commanding investigation again.
kote kentele keta nyato nkoti kisikisiro la karola.
From April 2004 to 2006,
Abo April 2004 for 2006,
I was appointed a director
yenke director
responsible for political affairs,
memmanata politiko lulanya ninga tanyala.
economic sabotage,
Fanko fanan tinyar bunda la korosiro
agricultural intelligence,
aning seno londi kulloringo men dinkata
and religious fundamentalism.
aning la natambila ludino la karola.
And in October 2006,
October 2006,
I was appointed
yentombong
as Director of Operations.
yenke nyaton koti do ko sambo la karola do ko lulanya.
June 2008,
June 2008,
I was appointed
yentombong koteke
Director for Internal Security.
yenke director ti puru konoto do ko bunda konoto la tankada
And Operations.
aninga do ko lu sambanya.
That was the first time
Ulem sinya followti
these two portfolios, Internal Security and Operations,
nyin karafulolu bang konoto tanko anin do ko lu sambanya
were merged.
ye kafunyoma.
And I was privileged the first person to serve in that portfolio.
Adun teleketa mo foloti aketanye bunyati katara o makamoto tembo.
2009,
2009
I was dismissed from the National Intelligence Agency
yembai NIA do kuala.
for reason best known to the authorities.
Many yembai telephone le adalilo long.
Up to today, I don't know why I was dismissed.
Fokata bula bila malong yembai menna.
3 years ago,
Sanji saba komando.
I bumped into somebody.
Nimmo benta.
He told me
Anyim fonye.
I was the cause for his dismissal.
Ntele ya sabu foya ate fanambai.
He sat 7 years without working.
Sita sanji wora amandu
I
kuoke.
said, what are you saying?
Nkae kamunefo.
He said,
Ako.
he was asked to make a statement against me
Ako katu ya nyine fae prae kumakango dada ayo fo me yalon ka ba wulila ntele kama.
when I was already dismissed.
Adun wato yende baile foka parede.
They were looking for a way to take me to court.
Ibe silo ni mfero le jube kang ibe nte sambala nyamin kito nyati lingula.
And he refused.
Abalanda.
That resulted to his dismissal.
Udalilo le ya sabu alawo balango ya kendi ya bayi.
Who was that person?
Omar Cham.
Ako Omar Cham le omoti.
Which Omar Shah?
Omar Cham is currently serving with the SIS.
Omar Cham me ya lon ko nyentembe ngabe do kola SIS.
The reason behind that,
Dalilo membe okoma.
Omar Cham was our liaison officer at NAWEC.
Omar Cham le munna kolu chokindangoti nawek.
Omar Cham reported a matter to me
Omar Cham ye kule kibaro fonte
that some NAWEC employees were suspected of siphoning gas well.
ko nawek la do kulalu dolle sotonta sobita ko e ka nawek la gaso le sunya
The generator, which was G8,
generator me ya lon ko men ka masin kuram masin o be ka
that
fay
was
G8
newly installed,
me ya lon ko ya pose kuta ke
they found spillage beneath the engine.
ya tara esanso be bondinga koto
Gas well.
gasoilo be bondinga koto
And the suspicion was
andu sobita nyine la ko
that probably
aseke
fuel was being stolen.
ika gasoilo sunya janne
Those who were on duties that night
wo suto menu be do ko la nun
were asked to report to the NIA
ko ne danko NIA
to make statements.
pour na kuma kangolu fo
I informed the Deputy Director General,
nanyin kibaro di do ku bunda la kunton ko no lan kola
but the Deputy Director General forgot to inform the Director General, Numo Kujabi.
bari ndenga kibaro fo meye men simbe kunton ko kan anyinata ama kibaro sindi kunton ko manu mo kujabi
When these NAWEC workers came,
rinyin nawek do kula lunata
we probed into the activities.
idunta do ko kolu kono men be tamakan
We discovered that
ntata tarako
on the whole it was nothing like fuel being stolen.
amanka ko nyinti ko ka gaso il sunya
It was oil leaking.
Leaking exactly.
amunta ka tulole ka suleng
And as a result,
wo tulu sulengo ya sabu
before 1600 hours,
janni ba fala talan
they
nani
were released on self-bail.
yebula pour ye fambil
It happened among those that were brought in.
aketa ko yolu mennu nati je wonya
Amongst them, one was an in-law to Numo.
kilimbi je wo munnu mo bitanneti
He was not happy about that.
manka e sewo kuti fereng
He summoned me
ayente
to
kumandi
his office,
ala office oto
accosted me
ayen sinda nyatilingula
alongside with the Deputy Director General.
anning atela nolanko
He said,
ako
"Nte tara nola jang,
I cannot be there
kulbe ke kanjam ma kalamuta."
things happening here which I'm not aware of
I said, "But sir, what happened?"
nka bari sa muneketa
He narrated that NAWEC saga.
ay nawek law ko satanye
I said, "Sir, if that is the case,
nka sa ninga atara wolem ko
I don't
nyindi
think I should be here."
malla law ton te nyanta tarla jang
The reporting line is pyramidal.
what abege padi
The reporting line is pyramidal.
be kibaro nyin kata nyame amunta selen ndam mulungolem
There's a Deputy Director General between me and you.
mola bentani tete ma men simbete kan
He has been adequately briefed,
adun kacha dita wala le
and he
akoita
should brief you.
andu wala nyanta kacha
Not me.
futandilete man tenteng
But you can see,
bari saje ko
Numo was not happy at all. He was very mad at us.
no mo man se wo ferenga kamfatan kamma
But actually, I told her I have not done any wrong.
bari nata fain konte man tanake
How do you know why the NIA would want to fabricate evidence against you for your prosecution?
yala na dalilo me asabu NIL ye ngani yo soto pour ka kumulta ka falling ki ke ka kidio la ikamba
I have my suspicion.
nte de kolu bijele sobita dalilolu menula
I might be wrong.
asikeno ngafili
It would have been
asikeno nyinti
the information given to the executive
ye kibaro mendi nyaton kola
about me,
ntela karola
those resulting to my dismissal,
men natake sababu tifo yente
is
bay
what they want to justify.
ilafta wole tonya yandila
And who would do that?
anu jumala be okela
I think Numo.
ngamera numole be okela
Was this normal in the NIA?
o
Say again?
kula de me
Was
alon ko
this normal in the NIA?
nimu kula de me alon ko dalita kala NIL ba
No, I wouldn't say so, sir. That I wouldn't say so.
But
nte o fola
you've worked at the NIA extensively.
bari kata molti me alon ko imeta do ko la NIL ba ka fa
tonya
In fact, from inception,
abrin ko da mutadla
correct?
Very true, sir.
tonya
You did not only work in every department except mechanical,
imam do ko ke da mento NIL wala moto do ko dingira nyindoro même mechanical department
you in fact headed every single one of them.
andu bunda fanal bundal me bebe NIL je yeddo ko ke je andu kete nyaton ko di je
Very true, sir.
tonya
That makes you one exceptional person amongst the many exceptional persons in the NIA.
onara ne ke mod me alon ko im keta mo nyontangol di do ko lal kono NIL je do
That's correct, sir.
With great knowledge about the workings of the institution.
andu ye londi sahari ngosoro londi dinkar ngosoro NIL do ko tamandir buloto
Correct, sir.
Onya.
Fabrication of evidence
kumola sedi andiro kumola me alon ko manke tonyati
to do people in was a common feature in the work of the NIA.
amolta ke dungo mu kula de me yalon ko mu wala mu tay na ila tamandere buloti wo watola
True or false?
tonya fa fania
It could be.
Aseke.
Mr. Drame, you're giving me hypotheticals. It could be.
Yes,
The
sir.
truth of the matter is
What
that
tonya
used to
menti?
happen very frequently at the NIA.
ko tonya menti wala mu nyinta aka ko ka tama wala nyamanu NIA kana fonya asikeno
This is a tangential point, but it's a very important one.
ni muku fanna kuma balati
And I would want you to answer directly.
anu mbela fra ye jabiro ke jabiro nyinge tiling akana mining
Not just from the point of view that you may have been a victim of that,
hanni amanka nyindi ko ka foko ita fa na ke bulaji alo nyin konole
but the fact that this was a modus operandi of the NIA, this was part of one of the tools they use in their work, fabrication of evidence against people.
wala mnyiti ko to NIA lo nuntono ila wala mu ila tamandere buloti ka to faniata ka ala mo kan ka ke to nyati
True or false?
to nya fa fania
Not during our time, sir.
Abuka kentola watola.
After the break,
fonyonde kola
I'll bring you evidence.
mbe seda ndiro natle nyati ngola
Even Jame himself
hani jamme fa
wrote memos lamenting
ay kuma kan wol safe ay wol
or
nyinyandi
criticizing the NIA for fabricating evidence.
ay NIA la kajafi ka kuma kan wol la mol kan nyame fania kan
You want to sit here and deny that that was not
itela
one of
fitas
the methods of the working of the NIA?
itela fitas sila jang yo bala wala ka fo manke NIA tamandere buloti
I wouldn't want to deny what you say,
Ntela fila kaso so ye memfo.
but I wouldn't say something that I do not have evidence on.
Bari ntela fila ka femfo mam men sede ya soto.
Mr. Drame,
Mr. Drame
don't try to dwarf the level of knowledge you have about the inner workings of the NIA.
kana kata ka bori lundo la men soto NIA la do ko ka tamande buloto
You are one of the longest serving members of that institution.
iketa molde me yalon ko imbe mol kono me yalon ko meta do ko la NIA je
You have pretty much headed every single department.
ye nyaton kake bunda jamalle do NIA je
Suggests that you don't know that these things were happening
ilafta kanyim fo ko imalon ko nyim kusi falbe tama kanung NIA le
would be simply unbelievable.
mosilano wala ba
Counsel,
But you know, Mr. Drame, that these things used to happen at the NIA.
Not at my-
fabrication of evidence.
not our time, and then maybe I will not be aware.
Asike amanken tola wato de bra asike mambo akalama.
Counsel, you see, birds of the same feathers flock together.
Nolu men mukilinti wolle
And
katinyola.
indeed, you did flock together with them for 20-something years.
duita ti ni tita
We were not in the same boat.
So you only sailed in the same waters?
We in the same one, but I was as just, I would not entertain it even.
Ntete sonna hani
The
wo
thing
kufu
is,
songol.
Mr. Drame, there is no suggestion that you have done wrong.
Miralte je kafo ko yeku kele me yalon ko amantiling.
There is no suggestion that you fabricated evidence in a particular case.
Este je me yalon ko moba fala menna ko ya case nyinta ya kun na faling.
Okay? So, is that clear?
Very
Osene
true, sir.
adema.
Osene ata.
The proposition to you
So men ham tandi la jang.
is that the NIA as an institution
Wala nyinti NIA tumala men do ko bundala.
used to fabricate evidence against people.
Delta la pour ka kuma kan wota ka faniya la mo kan
One example is the so-called fabrication of evidence against you.
follow men di misale follow men wala nyinti ko ye kuma kan men ta ya le kam yalon ko manke toñati.
Do you deny that?
Foy balanta wala la bang.
I wouldn't deny it,
Nta so sola.
but that was when we are gone.
Bari wo yatara ntultata.
Or you think it only started then?
Foy ya mira ko wato la damu tata.
I wouldn't know.
Nta lonna.
The
Okay.
way, sir,
All
if
right,
I may learn.
let us proceed.
Okay.
You definitely know a lot about the NIA.
Tonya ye jamala long NIA.
You definitely do.
Ya long
Even
bakale.
if you deny it,
Sanna re balanta la.
it's palpably obvious
O mu kulere mi alon ko
Crystal clear.
o sabati tale o sene
that
ata.
you do. You could not have headed all those sections or divisions of the NIA without having institutional memory.
Ite nyim bunnal be nyaton ko yala NIA jeto watra imal londo so do NIA tamandri bulor.
I agree with you.
Thank you.
So the memory that I have.
Let's just move on. Let's just move on. You were informed by Omar Cham that the reason for his sacking was because he's refused to fabricate evidence against you.
Dalilo me ya sabu ko Umar Cham ba wala nyindi ko ko yi kai kumakan ne safe me alon ko kumakan nyim betele mala puru itela ko ya bay wala la.
That is all interesting. We are not investigating rights violations arising from unfair dismissals or termination.
Mantra kisikisiro ke kan kula meni alon ko bayro kira mari la me alon ko aning tilimo manta.
So we would skip that.
Me saw na wotol.
But now let's talk about 1996.
Silangata 1996 saw kono ko la menketa.
The Farafenni attack.
Farafenni boyin kan woni.
What happened?
Muneketa.
How did you come to get the information and what happened?
Akeno da nyaade fete na na kibaro nyin soro amno munena nake.
That fateful Friday morning, I left my home for work. Whilst waiting for a transport vehicle to Banjul, then I used to I live around Tabokoto, Piccadilly area. Very lucky, I had a lift. And the gentleman giving me lift happens to be the Director General of the NIA at the time, Sambaba. We drove to Banjul. Whilst I was disembarking, I can see his face was very worried. For him being too professional, he did not say anything to me. And he even guided his conversation throughout to Banjul. When I reported to my office, I was told there is an attack at Farafenni barracks. I said, what? I ran straight to the Director General's office. I told him, sir, on the whole, this is what is happening. He told me that you are the last to know. But there is a military language. Supposed to go last to know. So now that I'm aware, I told him, sir, we only have one liaison officer in Farafenni at the time. That happens to be Pa Ibrahim Fai. In bracket Pa Fai. I said we need to reinforce him. And I'm prepared to head the reinforcement team in my capacity as the head of the counter-espionage unit. Taking cognizance with my experience and expertise on weapons and other military training. And I further inquired about the nature of the attack. What we were able to get from Pafai was that the people that attacked the camp looks like mercenaries. From what was gathered, they speak Arabic. They might have had Libyan connections.
asikeno enil Libya e chokinyolo soto.
And that
Andu wakang
he was able to tell us the number of rifles at the armory in Farafenni Barracks.
afanyen kilo nanga mulu membe ila kidibungo kono Farafenni.
Mr. Witness, just to gain time, can you spare us the technical details and we just go to the basic facts? You deployed to Farafenni, didn't you?
I deployed and joined the military reinforcement team to Farafenni.
Yen sambang kafuta mulu ma menu tata Farafenni.
Who headed that operation?
That was Peter Singate.
Wala Peter Singate le anyatun kaya.
But my officer commanding on that mission
Bari memu ntela onyaton koti o koto
was Joseph Mendy,
ka fayne Joseph Mendy.
who was my immediate senior.
Wo nte simbe ole kang.
Myself and the driver,
Nte kungoni moto sambala nyen drive.
Landin Damfa.
Ka faye landindamfa.
Nuru Seka
Nuru Seka
later joined us on that very day.
wo kola longa teo tilikilingo fanana takafum maje.
So what happened when you arrived in Farafenni?
Muneketa biringal futata Farafenni sado to.
Prior to our arrival,
Ya nimbe futala
we decided to move in tactical way, sir.
nga fe nga nyinga ni yota pour nimbitala nimfere pareri ngo etaje.
There was a distance of 100 meters at least between vehicles.
Motolu damanglu tema bita anu fo meter keme.
Anytime we move a short distance,
Ninga wati sutumbori
we will stop and start to gather overt information from the people.
nsilo nga kibaro nyininka molu bulu.
It was one of those stoppage
Wololu kono lo kilin sotonta
very close to Baobalong crossing.
meya lonka katata bawo bolong te dulala.
Anytime we stop,
Nilota wati o wati
the troop does not stay in their vehicle.
moto molu bukatu motolu kono
They
de.
will flank and take covers within the bushes,
Ika jimoto kono le dendenya molu kono.
taking cognizance of the element of surprise.
Katu nka parenyine kama mo kana iterendi.
Like I said, let's avoid the technical aspects of the operations. It is quite obvious you moved in tactical formation, anticipating coming across or coming into contact with the enemy. Isn't that what happened?
Very true, sir.
Wala muto nyati.
At what point did you come into contact with the enemy, if at all?
Al ninja wolu senta nyola mintole natara niye nyoje.
It was even at that place, Baobalong.
Akata bawo bolonne.
And what happened?
Muna ketaje.
When we moved a bit further,
Birin tata nyato domanding
we found a gelegele
na gelegele moto taraje.
with almost all the rifles of Farafenni armory in that gelegele.
Parafenye kilo lumenu be bije nge be tara wo gelegele kono.
Then the suspicion arose
Bitun na sobo wulita jail.
that this vehicle must have been used by them.
Ko woto nyim moto wo balana lumene farafenye boyin kan itele nyim moto sam.
We took control of the vehicle.
Nga moto muta.
The then CDS Lieutenant General Baji
Utumo membe sojar kunton kayala Lieutenant General
and his
Baji.
team had to flank to search the entire environment.
Anala mulu janjanta pour ka dinkira nyimbe kisi kisi.
We reoccurred later,
Bitu nyato domanding
and Peter said,
bitako
can we hold on until dusk
nse batu no hanu fo fitiri wato
and put a counter attack on the camp?
na kampo nyim fanalu ngana boyin kandiro ke kampo.
Hence, we have not got any accurate information.
Wairi mankibar senen soto follow wolu beje nyame.
And I intervened.
Bitu nte nata ndabula je
I said, sir,
nkae sa
based on the intelligence we have collected,
tuntele nga kullo membe kafunyo makibaro luto
these people have moved out from the camp.
nyil findita kampo konole
And let us not wait for nightfall
nkanamba to fodi boye dum
so that no one could take us by surprise.
mo kana nterende kaboyin kan.
So let's go and assault the camp. If there's anything, we assault, a direct assault. Let's do that.
Ngata doronga boyi kan ninga femfen taraje ngaye boyin kan.
We had a slight argument. I said, Drame, you are not a soldier.
Nga nyo saba kije hanu foitel kafo nyedra mete manke
I
sojarti.
said, sir,
Nkae sa
intelligence is the first defense in any uprising.
kullo dinkari ngo kibaro kukuma bale muati balambaya bunda lubela.
Interesting, all that. But like I said,
I will hasten it soon.
yes, we don't want to deal in tactical issues of the military and things like that.
Sojar lo tamandro fero tamandri bundal bulul malavi kawol kajaja.
So let's just get into the facts that are relevant to the inquiry.
Ngata ko nyimfango do me alon ko wala kummayata siyo nyinto.
That is the capture of the attackers and things like that.
Boyin kanal bringal tarafali muta.
We spent the night at Farafenye.
Nasuto la Farafenye.
The following morning,
Asomo somanda.
we spread our network,
Ngana bunda lu janjandi wala keta na molu.
and I was fortunate to come across an information.
Bitundena atake moti me yalonka ketanya harje utinga kibaru soto.
Some villagers came to lodge a complaint
Sate modul nata kanela wasida yitandi.
that they have seen an unknown person
Kwe moje imam men kalangolong.
that does not dwell among them,
Memmantara siring itelia.
nor could they recognize him from the neighborhood
Adu mamari sute kafwa botai dala mafangolela.
or the surrounding villages.
Wala dala sate ulutoje.
His appearance
Mari mulunya
is very dirty
anota
and very shabby.
andung amunta be halakiring.
They are suspecting that
Ibe sobirin nako.
he is among one of the attackers
Abeo mole kono menu nata boinkandirola.
because he was carrying a weapon.
Atu jorango fanamba bulu kilo.
I immediately informed my superior officer,
Mfananga ukibaro di nyatonko na nyatonko la wonoto.
and we were able to communicate to all our bases and ask them for standby.
Ngotumole nga kibaro janjandi na molu be dawoda nkwe pare.
As we were about to move,
Brim pare tatala dro.
I came across a pickup
Mpata pikopoje moto.
who was in the hands of the soldiers,
Me yala be sojarolu bulu.
and the soldiers in that pickup
Sojarolu men be moto kono.
was the driver
Driver men bije moto sambala.
called Balajo.
Ikafa e balajo.
You have a gentleman,
Mo fanam bije.
Popul Omar Ndur,
Popul Omar Ndur.
is of late.
Abantale saya
And
teke.
currently,
Nyintembeng.
Dam Job.
Ikafa me dam job.
And I stopped them
Ngelondi.
and asked them,
Nyininka.
the weapons that you are carrying
Nkwe al jorangol kidolu menu bali buluteng.
and then the ammunition in your possession,
Anin kesolu menu bali bulu.
would it hold an enemy fire for 1 hour?
Asi kelo samba no le hanfo montoro wati kilimba.
Omar responded in the affirmative
Omar njabi kwenye ha.
that if they do not go on fire on automatic, it's possible.
Ning ila kilo manke automatic tika lolo la nyokang asekeno.
While I asked that question,
Munan nanga nyininka.
Again, Mr. Witness, let's not.
we arrived at the scene,
Mfutata dinkira nyinto.
and then they took cover.
Iteletata ye biti.
I decided to enter the building where this person was hiding.
Nyimari be mabori mbungume nkono ntele duntaje.
And I told them,
Ngafoyeng.
we are told that he's armed.
Ye nyimfonye ne kokele jorang
In
babule.
the event you hear a shot,
Nali kidika momoy.
it means he has shot me.
Wala nyindi ko ta
Then open fire on that building.
Ota aliyo si alisio bungu bungu.
Omar Ndur said, then let's go together.
Omar Ndur konye woto ngata nyola.
I entered before him
Ntele dunta atenya.
and met a gentleman sitting on a bed.
Ngammo tara siri larango kang.
When he looked at me,
Raye njube.
he decided to go for his weapon.
Akubotumo la kabe sapila la
I
kidoka.
sprung
Nsa unta.
on him.
Mboita kang.
I was
Demonstrated agility.
I was able to control him.
Bitu nga kata fonga muta.
Omar was able to push the weapon and get control of the weapon as well.
Omar ye kele jorango nyin tabulu.
All the self-defense training came into play.
Very well indeed.
Ga keta wale nyama fankanto nin tankada.
You captured the enemy.
Nuru came, assisted us,
Nuruna tam makoi.
very instrumental.
Aketa ku nyimati ku
After
kende.
Nuru Seka, after he's an NI officer,
Nuru seka temu NIA do ku lal.
having subdued the gentleman,
Bringa kende ngunyi muta fonga nga
he
control nga
was able
muta.
to hold him for me until I'm able to cuff him.
Ate ya muta nyene hanfo nga cheno bula bulola
Front
hankof.
or at the back?
In the house, we cuffed him in the house. You know, when we bring him into
Hands cuffed behind his back or in
behind the back, sir.
Nga bulolu kof akomale.
I know I violated something.
Ngalon nga tiñaro kele.
But that was a war situation,
What
sir.
did you violate?
Sir?
What did you violate?
Because I made to understand, even if you cuff someone very tight, even if you are violating his right.
Kadu nga jimfamu ko niye kofo ke mo bulola cheno na dete jawta o fomu yala nyanto tiñale.
How did you subdue him?
Sir, with the hand, you can manipulate with the hand. Is that the person has to accept being handcuffed or not, his hand breaks.
Kufula la mamari eso ye cheno bula bulola ka handcuff wala bulo ekati.
Proceed, please.
We put him in the pickup,
Na bula moto kono.
arrive at Farafenyan camp.
Data farafenye sojar
The
ko.
moment we disembark,
Brinji ta moto kono drong.
the entire camp shouted,
Kampo be wurita.
I tell him, I tell him, I tell him, I tell him.
That's the man, that's him, that's him, that's him.
I said, I tell him, Muneketa.
I said to them, that's him. What has happened?
I was told, they said,
I was told, they said, Italian Memfo.
he was responsible for most of the killings that occurred at the camp.
Atelom moti mentarata meye fari jama ke kampo.
Someone shouted amongst the soldiers,
Mo sotonda sojar kono me wurita
Nine Karfon Kanate.
saying that this man beheaded Mr. So and so. He slaughtered Mr. So and so.
Was anybody beheaded?
He was, yes, yes, he was caught, just slaughtered like
He
a
was
sheep.
slaughtered. He was slaughtered.
Was somebody slaughtered?
Yes, sir. And also,
Ukola fanang
it was realized,
inataje ko
other than the sentry,
an kantarla nyim kola.
Guard Commander Sidibe
Guard Commander Siribe
was
kantarla
the
la
only one with weapon at the time.
Wodron jorango bewle bulunu wotembo.
So he was the one exchanging fires with them.
Atele mumoti menni nyilbe nyo bunkang wotumo.
But the Farafenye attackers did not attack Farafenye with any weapons. They recovered weapons from
True, sir.
from the center.
Umuto
sir.
nyade.
That's true.
Umuto nyalti.
Proceed, please.
And they said,
Kariko.
that same gentleman
Ateo mo kilimu nying.
was the one who killed Sidibe.
Atele nata Sidibe fa.
When Sidibe ran out of ammunition,
Birin Sidibe la keso bata.
That too is hearsay and is unverifiable. But it's important that we just
we are,
capturing it in the way it should be. Proceed, please.
and they said,
Iko. Iko.
when he arrived at Sidibe,
Birafta Sidibe ma.
I had Junjunne, I marked like he shot him once, I had Junjunne.
He shot him continuously.
You see you know, like they say in Sierra Leone, then say. No take man to prison. So it's all hearsay. The description we had of the Farafenye attack is such that all those soldiers could not have seen what they said. Because during the attack, most of them ran away. They scampered into the bush. And having scampered into the bush, they did not see all these things that were happening. But the important thing for us is, it's not in dispute that these guys attacked Farafenye. It's not in dispute that they killed our soldiers, most of whom were not armed. It is also not in dispute that they went away with the contents of the armory. All right. So you captured this guy, you went to Farafenye barracks, you received some information about the attack. Now take it from there.
We said if anyone touch him, you will have to do the explanation that he's supposed to do. My commanding officer communicated to Banjul, and the instruction was to take him to Banjul forthwith. He asked me to escort him. In the process, it will require a backup. And we got the backup from the military. We drove all the way to Banjul. We arrived in Banjul almost after Isha prayers. I was met by the Director General, Sambaba, very happy.
At this time,
Yes, sir.
temben
was he the only person at the NIA premises?
fo ata dammala mo membe no NIA sansan kono ba
I realized
ngaje ko
a panel of investigators of the agency
doku bunda nyin na kiskisirlalu ye molu bendi
were already doing their work,
ulbela du ko kanne no wotumo
What work was that?
having received other suspect.
katu wotumo ye modolu fanalu soto e mennu yalon ko sobobe la koy dabije
And what was that work?
mona o do ko woti
To investigate those people that were in their custody.
ka molu la ko kisikisi ye mennu muta foye natije
They were interrogating suspects that were arrested.
munde tarata ka mol nyinin kanu men yalon ko isobitela ko idaba ko nyin kono la
Counsel, I was not there,
kansul ndatije nunde
but I knew that was the purpose of why they were gathered there.
bari ngalon ko wolem daliloti me ye bendije
Because I did not come across them interrogating.
katu manna ntarata kataraje e nyaala be nyili nyinin
You
kaka
went there.
I did not when I hand him over
mandun jede ntengate cikale ngadi dolula
because the DG called Mr. Barry
katu DG Mr. Barry Kumandi
Which Mr. Barry?
for the Barry
Bari
to receive.
pour atena nyimari muta
I think he dispatched somebody.
ngamera moleki
But frankly, I cannot recall who actually received it from me.
bari hakilo botale jumale fango
But I know he was a staff of the agency.
bari amari mudu kulalti NIAJ
Then I was summoned to go to the office of the Director General.
tumole yem kumandi ko ngatandanku Director General la
Why I went there,
birin minan nantata je
when we were leaving,
birin be bulu la tumo mena
we
kata
had no logistic.
mam fem sotombe
No feeding, no nothing.
domori man dinna fem man
Mr.
dinna
Witness, you were aware that those who were arrested were being questioned.
ye in kala mutala ko sedo ye mennu muta ye nyinin kale
Of course that I know, sir.
ha to nya ngawlon
And in that process, they were being beaten.
andu nyinin karo yi waro nyin kono ye libale
I did not even enter into that place.
mani dung wo dinkira fangoto
I was just coming from Farafenye,
mbotana mfara fenyele do
very tired,
mbatari ngo
sleepless,
mansino
because a night before that we patrolled the whole night.
katu suto mbota kono suto mume obe na beke do koleti tamango
When I hand him over,
biringate chikanga di dolula
and that person happens to be Yaya Drame,
omari ka fole ya drame
I was summoned to into the office of the Director General.
tumole yen kumandi ko ngatandanku Director
He
General
gave us our operational funds,
tumole e nyanta njola buluma sayo men ko kodo biji
and I signed for everything,
ndela nga be sayen pour ka fengoluta
and I took off with the driver home.
tun tenen drive fo botaje tumole kasai
Evidence we received is
seden do
that
men soto jam wala nyinti ko
those people were tortured,
o moli nyol o mari nyol ye mennu muta ye tayi butele
and you were present there
andu ita keta molde mi alon ko be maberi njele
and participated.
andu ida bulata butero nyin kono le
What do you say to that?
ye mo soto be men fola won
Grossly false, sir.
ode o manke kuma sotoringote
The information, the evidence came from no less than the acting or the de facto Deputy Director General of the NIA at the time.
o kuma kan nyimam bo hani mo kilim bulo ko ninga manke mola me alon ko atele be nun wero ke kan nun ida e nyaton ko alo korda nyi ko mem NIA o wato la
He's lying?
He's lying, sir.
abe fanial
I am sure right now, as I'm testifying,
akoyta masayin say mbelni sedero la nyamin
if he listens to me,
na ye lamoy na kumolu
he
la
would have remembered.
hakilo be bulala la
Are you suggesting that he may have forgotten, or are you suggesting that he lied?
o iba mira kanda ko fo a nyina tale bam fo abe fanial
Let me be so disciplined with him. Maybe he forgot.
mbatu ngaga tilingota aseke anyina tale
Notwithstanding, he was my superior officer.
kita nyonyandi na nyaton kolem
Why would you think
mane ya zambi
put you there?
iba mira la ko abe dundla je ka fo be nun jele
He was not that operational person.
ate manke moti no me alon ka tarta kolu tamandi bundala
He did not claim to have been operational.
Manyinka ninka foko atafana benu ndo ko nyin kono le.
He said he headed admin and finance.
Ako atanya munya ton ko dole ndo ko ta mandil nya ni na fulo to pro nya.
And he said he was going there now and again to see what was going on.
Andu ngako watini wati akataje la jube kumune be kube tama kan dingira.
And he was able to place you there.
Andu nganata na nyi fa ngo soro no pour ibulu pour ke
Amongst other people.
pour ke tarandi o mol kono je menu beje.
I think if I heard him well,
anga mera nata ngala kumomo kendeke
he wasn't even sure of my presence.
amman ko ya mafang fonte bije fontiye
This is why
wala ya sabu
I left with a team.
ntenin ka fole botaje
Well, he included your name.
Sir, it is
Ay
not
to
true.
volet.
sa to nyande
He included Salmina Drame.
Ay salimina drame to vole.
He also included you.
No ay defana to vole je.
If he had just mentioned a drame, not being sure which one,
Ninga tra drame konto ngodronne fo andu malla jumala kilimu.
then you could say that.
What is so for?
But he mentioned Jim Drame.
But I Jim drame to lefo.
Sir, it's totally false.
sa to nyande
Mr. Drame, is it just possible
Mr. Drame fo asekeno ba.
that you actually went in there and handed over?
Iti tara jelro yenyi marita yadi
You
nyunula.
handed over this, Yusuf, was it Yankuba Drame?
Yaya Drame.
Yaya Drame.
Yeah.
Yaya Drame, who was apprehended.
I was even met at the veranda, not inside the office.
Wasn't it at the door instead of the veranda?
Sir?
Wasn't it at the door, the entrance to the
Investigation. In fact, then the manner in which the construction was,
ye dinkiral ni lo nyamin
if you enter,
ni
the door, there's a veranda and there's a door.
perango bije bunda fanambe konoto
There's a wall, you will not see nothing.
sansango bije bumbalo
You
e
will
barita
need to
fenjela
curve on your right,
foye so e bulubala
get to offices.
pour ka futa officeolu
Likewise on your left.
adu abewole nyama marafa nanna
the entrance to the hall.
Investigation department. It was not the hall even.
Yes, but you went up to that entrance.
Not inside, but to the entrance, where I hand them over in cuff.
But you peeped inside to see what was going
No,
on.
sir.
Ye yo firo ke jele ka long mune betama kanje.
hani
It will be interesting to note,
nyinsike hame kuti pour ka long
when Balo was testifying,
brim balo be sede arola
I asked Jumalem Nyinti,
ay nyinin karo ke jumala nyinti who is this
let me learn, sir. Stop my this new farafenya attack.
say ko
Ñun le wo multi minier farafenya
these
barak
are the
attack.
people who attacked the farafenya barak
Other than Yaya Drame,
yaya drame kola
I have never set eyes on any of them.
yaya drame kola ntenya keso mallo hani killing kan ikono
I was in a reinforcement team that went to Farafenye
mbeka fo kono menu tata farafenya
when we escorted Yaya Drame to the NI headquarters,
biringa yaya drame samba nan NIA kordato
and I was given my operational phone that night,
biri yen nakodo dinna wolungo suto
alongside with that of the team that were at Farafenye.
nin ka fo molu menu be farafenya num
I went home straight and slept.
ntata suwole nyama ntata la casino
All that could have happened.
Ke basic keno le.
No dispute about that.
No ni so sorte utawor.
It is also possible
Ni mfana se keno le.
that you could have entered
Isi dunno le.
that building
Obongo nyin kono.
or that room where the interrogations were taking place.
Obongo nyin kono kisi nyin karol ni jabiro be ke tama kan ndamendo.
I did not enter, sir.
mandunje sa
You deny the allegation.
Very well. sir.
Ibalanta tumiro nyin dal.
tonya
This investigation is not closed.
Nyin kisi kisiro nyin dama soron folot.
More information about this could emerge.
Kibari kote nusito soto no nyin ko kono le.
If that happens to be the case,
Ninga dara wala nara nake kuoti.
and it's relevant to you,
Anu akumaya te itoto.
you'd be informed and you would respond.
E be kala mutan ni andu be jabiro kelele.
All right. But the important thing is to be as honest as possible.
Bari men kumaya raja wala mnyinti ko tonya fodron yetiling.
Because if a person who lies to the commission
Katu ni mo na raja ngai fania fo commission ol jaja.
would not be entitled to amnesty.
Amari nyinga ate tatara no la mol kono mialan ko yam fobe dino lala.
So I just want to flag that
Lafta ka wose ne andi yedro.
so that it could guide how you testify.
isaje obe tente obe tete no la ila se dan do nyi wicho nyin kono
The ultimate objective here
nyin siyo nyin hamo be menti jang
is to bring out the truth.
wala mka to nyake so findindi
So we all reconcile later as one family.
isaje ni obodala mbezi murunyo kanga ka kilindi ngake dimbaya ba kilingoti
And we forgive those who are forgivable.
isaje nsi yamfa mol la men yalon ko jareta pour ka jamfe
And then we move on and focus on national development.
isaje nsi simfada nyado ta ko nga nyati le bankola yirwandola
Your evidence, your testimony is that you did not participate or even were not present in the torture of this Farafenya time.
ila sedandro men be men dikan commission wala ja wala nyindi ko ida mantara nyin mol me alon ko yemuta Farafenya boy kan nalla be tajire yala wato be lipala wato men e man dunje ando imam makula je.
That is correct, sir.
That is your testimony.
Wala mo ila sedandro be men
This
diga
is so.
Ha wala.
I cannot be in Farafenya and be in Banjul at the same time.
Ndetarno la Farafenya ngatara Banjul na te wata kilingula.
Let me learn, sir.
Mr. Witness, no, hold a second. Don't confound the issues. Don't conflate them. Don't confuse the issues.
kana ko jakasi
There is no suggestion that you were in Banjul when you were in Farafenya.
mo man miro di ka ko e benum Banjul wata kilo fana be Farafenya.
The suggestion is at one point you were in Banjul.
Membe foka wala nyindi wati nan soranta le be Banjul lenu
You agreed that at one
I
point
was in
you were in Banjul.
Banum Banjul.
Exactly. It is also suggested that at one point while you were in Banjul, you were at the NIA premises.
andung nyim fana miro e fana ditala ko wato men be num Banjul wati nan soranta wato be Banjul be num NIA sansan kono le.
True, sir.
It's also suggested that during that period you entered the building where the investigations were taking place.
nyim fana fotala ko wato men be num Banjul NIA la sansan kono inata na tara ta NIA bungo nyin kono be kiskisiro ke kan damendo.
You agreed with that?
I did not enter the building.
Just hold on.
Mandum bungo kono.
You entered the building.
Idunda bungo nyin kono.
Your claim is you did not enter the room.
Bari ite be mem foka wala nyinde bungo nyin kono e man dum bungo nyin kono.
The room where the interrogations were taking place. You see, in our languages, maybe we don't have the word for room as opposed to the house. Well, in Wolof we says, "Duganga ci neeg bi, why dugo ci cabinet bi." All right. You did not enter the room. I think that is the point of contention. You said you stopped just by the veranda facing the door.
The veranda is an open space. It's not even part of the building. There is a step. We stopped. He was under. In fact, there were chairs. I gave him to a person, and then I answered to the Director General.
Nga samba tumo menna. Sirangul bije nte futata dorongo tumolo ngata ngadu nyimolu bulokono hanu fonte bringa saundi ngadu ndiol bulokono nte banta bala otumol.
What is surprising in this whole thing is that you've just participated in a very important operation. True?
Very true.
Tonya.
Arrests were made.
Very true, sir.
Tonya.
You have carried out an arrest. You have brought in the person arrested. Correct?
Very true, sir.
Tonya.
Protocol would require that when you hand over the person, you debrief the people you're handing him over to. The rules would require that you debrief that person. Here is this person, he is arrested at this particular place, at this time. This is where you found him. This is how you found him. This is what you found him with. Wasn't that to be expected?
That is what is expected, and it was done.
To who?
The Director General, because I was asked to report and take him to the DG.
But
Director General,
Mr. Witness, you don't debrief the Director General because the Director General is not the person handling the witness. First of all, you would have to brief the person handling the witness, and later you debrief the Director General about the general operation.
Se do director korda tiyo nying manke mot me yalo ko nyena tala kumul sandala wole menketa alda mutar dulato iba di la menna nyenda ko nyi satala wole ni bota woto isana data director fana ya fudandama.
That is required as a matter of procedure, isn't it?
Do ko sartol ta mandri bulol ya landi wole nyama.
My orders were.
Ye kango men
Just
dintela.
answer the question first before you
Jabiro
go to your
nyin karo
orders.
nyin jabiro ni bota wala isite la
That
sataro.
was required as a matter of procedure.
Do ko sartol ta mandri bulol ya landi wole nyama.
That is correct.
Umuto nyalti.
Did you do that?
Fayo
We
ken.
didn't do that. I had an instruction.
Mawo ke katu ye ya marole dinna.
The other thing is,
Ko do menti.
you participated in this important operation.
Ida bulata nyin do ku kende bato.
People were apprehended.
E mol muta.
You brought this person.
Ye nyi marita ya nati.
You went up to the door
Ite yeta fo bundato.
of where these investigations were happening.
In kisikisiro be keri mbungo men kono.
You did not enter to see what was there, what
Ite
was
man
going
dungo-
on,
ite man
who
dungo
was
nyi-
apprehended.
Bungo nyin kono ka lo mune be keri nje ye jumale muta.
That did not happen.
Isn't that strange?
O manke kudi alon ko ko nyin simo jahali bang.
There is a reason to that.
Let me just finish.
Dalilo bala.
The last point is,
Ku laba momenti.
you are to be deployed again to Farafenye.
Inyane sambala kote kata do ko la farafenye.
The information that was already available at headquarters
Kibaro me alon ko soto da headquarters o tembola.
was needed to enrich your knowledge for when you go back to Farafenye.
O sulo be jele pour we fute ma isaje ni muruta farafenye kote ke bala be menkela.
Isn't that true?
Fo manke tonya.
It was in the negative.
Umukuleti me ya lonko amanke
No.
kusudurun.
The question is,
Inin karo menti.
the information that was already gathered
Kibaro me alon ko silanteng akafuta nyomale.
was necessary, was needed to enrich your knowledge
Sulo
for your
bejele.
redeployment back to
Sulo
Farafenye.
be jele pour ka kibaro nyinta ka futa ndima isaje fana ni buruta farafenye fana isalo be kela nyame.
It's
Isn't that
supposed
true?
to, but I think that could have been done, reporting that to my commanding officer.
Anyanda kela wala nyama baraka kibaro dindila officer la no commanding officer.
But here you are.
Silang ifele jang.
The information is right there.
Kibaro nyim fele anata le asotota le.
Those arrested are right there.
Menu mutata ifele je ifele mutata le be jang.
You did not debrief those who were conducting the investigation.
Men yalan ko ba ko nyi kisikisa iman ko nyi ima fanundi ka kachandi menketa.
You did not enter the room to even see what was going on.
Ime fang ya sula fam pour ka dum bungo nyi fangono ka long mune be tama kanje.
You did not even take the information that was available, which was needed to help you go back to Farafenye.
Imanta fa ye kibaro nyinta o mol bulo kono isaje ko o kibaro nyi be mentale bulo membe de mala ni murunda farafenye kota kela do ko nyi kono.
You did not even satisfy the basic human curiosity.
Hada madingo kumpo membe ko nyi fangono ima ko nyi fangono ima timmandi.
To just say, oh, who's the person arrested?
Pour yete kete fan ka kumpo du ifanda ka fo jumala fa muta.
All this is strange, isn't it?
Nyim be mu kulete me alon ko nyi ngasi hakilo jahasi.
Can I explain now, sir?
Same fam fono le bang.
Answer the question. All this is strange.
Nyini karo nyin jabe nyim be mu kulete me alon
Would
ko
explain,
jamfa
but just answer the question.
According
This
to
is
you,
not
it's strange, sir.
According to the reasonable man, according to Mr. Drame,
Trust me, sir, it's not strange.
Lanna amanke ku kawakudi.
The discipline that I worked for at the time
Nkadu ko ke sarto men na karola otembo.
was based on the principle of compartmentalization.
Fana mbebe larin ko men kan wolem kakulu fatang.
They need to know,
Dalilo men sakende ye kulong.
they need to see,
Anin dalilo men sakende ye
they
kuje.
need to take,
Anin dalilo men sibula kutala.
and they need to retain.
Anin kakutu ibulo.
but let me ask you this question.
So nyini karo la.
You had a need to know.
Sulo be jele pour ya long.
Answer yes or no. You had
Jabro
a
how
need to
honey.
know.
Sulo be
I
jele
need
pour
to
ya long.
know, but it was transmitted through a superior officer, not me.
Nyanta lon na la bari otambita lu
Just
nyaton
answer-
ko le la karola mtente.
Let's answer the questions directly.
I
Nyini
need to
karo
know.
nyin ajabi dron
You
ay
needed to
tiling.
know.
Yes, sir.
Sulo be jele pour ya long.
To nyalti.
You did not go and find out.
Ite be fan sula fan pour kata ka
And
nyini.
you were there.
Andu be je.
It was in your cusp. You were there. You could see it. It's right there.
file nyati le isa jeno
Okay. You also needed to retain,
andu hani kabi sulo be je fana pour ka kibaro nyi mutay fambulu
but you did not even take
bari mata fa me fan sula fan pour ka kibaro nyi ta
to retain.
pour ya sote ya fa kitare
It is
fambulu
all these things that you have said
nyi mbe mu kula me anan ko yemem fo
which suggested that you would have
Me-
or ought to have entered that place, hand over this person, explain to them all the things that you know about what happened with Yaya Drame before you left to go to
ñun be mu kula me anan ko nyanda ka wala ke ni ya mari nyi nati ya samba bu ngi gono kisi kisi robe keri ndal jandi ba dile ni ya dile fana ya kuma la kan isa je dol fana be kuma men dile ni bitela dingira nyi do murura ni be murula fara fe isa lo bita kuma kan o bita kan o men kan
This time around,
ñin silo de
it was not so.
amanke o ñama
My orders were,
ye kango men dintela wolem
take Yaya Jammeh to Banjul,
yaya jamme samba banjul
hand him over,
yaya drame
instruction from my commanding officer,
na ñaton koyo kango le dinna
which I did.
nga ke wala ñama
And then if they were going to communicate anything,
ni be kubar do fula
they would communicate to him and not to me, sir.
ba fula ntela o ñaton ko le ta
He was the one who told me,
wala moti meye ñim fonte ye
Iko Aya Samba Banjul.
take him to banjul
So with me,
ntela karola
my role was
na lolu la mo ñineti
escort Yaya Drame to
yaya
Banjul.
drame dandang fo banjul
Why didn't you stop at the ferry?
mana ne man dam ferio to woto
Which ferry, sir? At the Banjul terminal.
You would have arrived in Banjul.
Well, my instruction was to take him to headquarters.
ye ya maro men dina wolem nga samba na korda bato
You could have stopped at the gate.
ilana danna no bunda le ko
I have to hand him over.
fo nga ta nga dun dolu
Could have
bulu
stopped at the gate.
nyana danna no korda bunda
That would be an incomplete mission.
abekela kuba mbalol ti otumo
And I was
And
given
that is precisely the reason why
wala mkuwa
you
di
took him to invest and handed him over to them at invest.
wala mdali do fa
true, sir.
woni de pura
But
ko
you told us you did not go to invest.
No, the building is in the invest building. It's not inside the building. We did it at the door. Everything, there are chairs. I did not enter the office.
amanke
I did not get in there. I did not have any discussion. Neither did I take any brief from them. Drame, go hand him over. I did so, and hand over. They said, "Idanku dijila."
when I took him bringa sambaje mfutata bundato sirangulu bije iko ngadi mennu la ngachi ka ngadu ngulu bulokono ntela kolu danta jele bar bringa obeke fonga mbandi wonoto le ko nyenko te danku dijila wairi ntenyanta menkela ngaw timmandi wotumo.
It therefore means that when you arrived, the DG was not within that vicinity.
oda munda nyin ko to mi de wala mi de wato men ete futata diji nyi amandra o barabaro la ko nyin dingira nyin toje
DJ was standing at the main entrance heading to his office.
DG belori mbunda bale to me ya lonko silo le tata tela office oto.
You did not have a conversation with him.
ina man kuma fali
I
nyote
complimented. I said, "Sir, Mr. Mendiko nganyin nati."
I greeted him, I complimented him nga kontong ka sa Mr. Mendy ko nati.
And what did he tell you?
ay mona fo
Samba investigation.
Ako nga samba investigation.
At the time, who was around you?
o wato la jumala bete la barabaro la je
My military escort.
Sojaro lumeni ente danda wolle bije.
So he left?
Tata.
DG left?
diji tata la
He went to his office.
Atata la office.
You also left?
fanan tata
I proceeded to the investigation department, hand him over there.
Ntetententa nga samba kisikisir bunda to nga di wolle la.
While Fodebari and others were inside dealing with another suspect who was arrested.
o wato la fode bari na do kote ngoli tolbe nun kono to memu investi inin mo kote ndo be je mi alon ko ya o mutale
Presumably.
So you went in there to deliver this person.
mo dete tata nyinje ye nyi mariadi
I did not enter there. I stopped at the door and hand him over to the person I was asked to hand him over to.
But how is that
Mandu
possible?
nteng danta dale to ko nga di menna nga dungo buloko no dale to nte danta wole to.
It would mean that this person sitting in there would have to have telepathy. That here is Mr. Jim Drame coming or arriving with Yaya Drame. So let me go and receive him.
ko be kala nyine de wo Mr Drame Jim Drame fela ni yaya Drame kana o mbadu ngata nga bendu nga nyi mari muta bulu
The manner of transmission,
kuolu sawundi nyaketa nyamemma
my officer commanding
ndela nyatonko
has adequately briefed the Director General.
ate diamuta Director General yenne ka ko bay nyoto
And I am sure
andu lata lako
the Director General was there to see and receive.
Director General fanam bijele pour asaje anim fanan kanyim futandiama
And most have transmitted the information gotten from my OC to the investigators.
ando asekeno ayo kibaro fanam men soto osima aya futandi kisir lalu male.
That is all possible.
o be sikeno la
And we don't dispute that.
mambala wala so sordate wala
But you met your Director General.
silang misalo fele yele director tarandi
There was nobody around.
mote of barabaro la je
He went to his office.
ata data la office ko no
So you took this man
sa ite nyimuta monati
to invest.
ya samba la kisikisir dingira
There was nobody around.
mote ngo barabaro la
So you definitely must have entered the room to hand them over, or this man who came out must have known that you are there.
Mola
And
nene
that
mo
would
taraji
require synchronization.
nyimari nyimeye nyimemuta
The
ye
synchronization was done, but not by me, because I was met at the door.
But
nyolo
nobody
keta
knew where
barinte
you
mo
were
ke yente
there.
bentun daleto
Nobody
It
knew
was
you.
the DG who must have communicated to them.
But
diji
how?
wala ni
Nyadi.
asike wala ni diamuta
They were waiting for us.
ibentelu batu kanenu
Yes, we agree they were waiting for you.
msonda wala li tarta kalbatu
Okay, you met the DG. You had a conversation with him. He told you, take him to invest.
ina da DG tarandi
He did
akoy
not
ko
say to
ala
you,
samba kisikisir dingira
wait for invest to come and get him.
amma fo ay ko ali sije ye kisikisir lal batu yana ya tay bulu
He ordered you to take him there.
ay kango dila ko ya samba je
Correct?
Very correct, sir.
And then he left.
atata
You also went to invest.
ita fanantara in kisikisir
He went upstairs
ada selta la bunjang sando
and you went where? Downstairs.
ita tata duma
Exactly. So you would get to invest even before he gets upstairs.
sela folo
Because
be
he would
fuda
have to climb the
kisikisir
stairs.
dingira nyi do jannabe fuda la tabe fuda la bunjang sando la
So there is no room for synchronization, for communication with somebody else to come out and meet you. The
Fero,
fact
fero
of the
daje,
matter
fero
is
melanda
you went in
kafo ko-
there and handed over this person.
mole bina ini membe diamula tumala mela mote nunje ma motara je
When I was leaving Farafenye,
rimbe wala nam farafenya
sir,
Let's answer this question.
Nyini
I
karo
did
jam.
not enter there.
mandunje
Mr. Drame, are you, just a moment, are you avoiding
ebe bori kam
putting yourself in the room just because you want to avoid, you want to shield yourself from this allegation of torture?
fo ebe bori kan ron
Is
ka
that-
fo ko ite mbungo nyin kono ke fam mabo
But-
ka bori ko la men yalon ko
let's get
tumiro la
it
men la
straight.
ko tajire yala
Having entered the room
Kabudum
does
bungo.
not necessarily mean that you have participated in torture.
kadu
These
mbungo
are
nyin
two
kono
separate things.
kadu dum bungo no ron o ron manyin firingo ka fo ko ida bula tajire ya kono le
But you seem to be just avoiding putting yourself in the room because you want to avoid the suggestion that you participated in
be
torture.
fam tiba kata kana ron ke fam bondi ka fo ko man dungo bungo nyin kono mi nyin kamala ko ron misa asikeno ka fo ko be fam bondi ko ida bula taw tajire ya nyin kono le men keta je
Counsel,
council
I don't have a cause to lie.
dalila tembulu pour nga faniaf
I was going by instructions.
ndebe tamaka yamarol lela
We've dealt with your instructions.
it-
Let's just answer this question.
I did not enter the room where the investigation was taking place.
mandum bungo kono kisikisirol be ke kandami
So then let's move on then. We leave it at that.
nga bula wodo
Right? Like I said, the
Konga
commission would receive more information in this,
mi songo be kibar ko tangol soto la nyin ko
and then perhaps it would help the commission to be in a better position to determine
isaje obina commission o de mala pour que la ko sabatindi
whether you were in there or not.
fo ite tarta num bongo nyin kono la ma hedunda jele fo mandra ninje
All right. So the other accusation, perhaps maybe this is a convenient time for the first break.
silondo jangata da samola
I think we should go for a coffee break. Maybe coffee in our own Invest canteen would refresh memories. So we can take a 30-minute break, come back at 12:30 sharp. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you.